Good morning, guys. So for today, we are going to review our rules and procedures for theater arts class. So I'm going to minimize myself and open up the slideshow. Play from start. So you might remember this from the beginning of the school year. It's a little bit different. I changed some things and I deleted some things as needed. So we're going to go right into talking about our class rules. We have very important rules. We have be prepared, be respectful, stay in your seat, no food or gum, water in a clear bottle only, or wear a mask over mouth and nose at all times. So this marking period in particular, it is very important that we are being mindful of each other's safety and COVID and everything like that. So by be prepared, I'm asking that if you have your, everyone should have a theater arts notebook. So you should be bringing that to class or having that ready to go for class. If you are using your own technology, you should have that with you. Being respectful is just a blanket statement of asking that you treat others the way that you want to be treated. Stay in your seat. This is one rule that some kids are having a really hard time with being on point with doing the right thing. So I really need you guys to be mindful about staying in your seat, and we'll talk about that more. No food or gum. That should be an obvious thing. Sometimes I will allow you to have food or gum if you're absolutely dying. What I ask is that you ask permission first. And typically, if you ask permission and I give it, I am totally okay with that. If you do it in a way that I am unaware and you leave trash and stuff all over my room, that's what I'm not okay with. And that did happen a little bit last semester in some of my classes down in the back by the black wall. So that needs to not be happening. And lastly, of course, wearing a mask over mouth and nose at all time. This marking period in particular, we're not doing any acting. So there should be no reason for you to be taking your mask off frequently. All right, moving on, our Schoology and Zoom rules. So one thing I noticed that happened a lot last marking period is that kids were signing on and either putting fake names or nicknames or emojis, or just a lot of you have the same name, and so you're not putting your name and your last name, and then I don't know who you are, and I can't give you credit. So what I really need y'all to do is make sure you are putting on your first and your last names all the time. If we are doing a Zoom call, which I don't do very often, I'll try to be better about doing them this marking period. Please have your cameras on during a Zoom call, and please be on time to Zoom calls. If you join my class 20 minutes in, your class is already far ahead of where you're at. So, I mean, you can come on to talk to me, but don't come on and be expecting to have me start the lesson over, because that's not going to happen. Why is it important during COVID times to stay in your seat? So this was a big issue last year, especially in my last two classes, which are big. But if you're up and you're moving, and especially if your mask is not on your face, you are just spreading your germs like wildfire. And so we really need to be mindful about controlling the spread this marking period, because it's going to be really bad the first 2 months of the year. So just be mindful. You stay in your seat. You follow the rules if you need to get up to get permission from me first, and we'll talk about that more later also. Wear a mask at all times. So I know I have a hard time with this too, guys. I struggle, but your mask should be over your mouth and over the bridge of your nose. So like this. I know when we talk, it tends to fall down and do this. It happens all the time when I'm talking. So if you notice my mask is falling down, please politely remind me to pull my mask up as needed. If you need a mask break, because let's be real, we all need a mask break at times, please ask for one by doing the walking man signal, which we'll go over later. And I will give you a short break in the hallway to remove your mask, but only if there's no one else in the hallway. If someone else comes by, like to use the bathroom or something, put that mask right back on there and come back into class, okay? And if there's like a medical reason that you cannot wear your mask, I will be sending you to the nurse, because that's a whole other can of worms. Okay, what is a procedure? So a procedure is a little different from a rule. Rule is a thing that we do to make sure we don't get in trouble. A procedure is things that we do to make sure that we always know what is expected of us, kind of like a routine of what we're doing. And in theater class, we definitely have some important routines we need to follow. So at the beginning of class, most of you should know this already, you come and you stand on those red marks in the hallway and you wait for me to call you into the room. There should be no one in this room without me in here, okay? As soon as we get in, guys, if I have sprayed the desks before you came in, please grab a towel, or if you just want to take extra precautions and get a wipe, you are free to wipe down. I know technically we're not supposed to make you do that, and I will never force you, but it is your personal choice if you want to do that, to take extra precautions. Wipe down your desk, and then if you need technology, you can go ahead and grab technology from my cart. It's first come, first serve, and then take a seat, or just take a seat and get your devices out. All my classes, I think, are pretty small still in person, except for my end of the day classes. So my end of the day kids, if you feel really cluttered, feel free to take your backpacks up to the black shelves in the front of the classroom. All right, I'm trying to go fast so I can get through this. First 10, last 10, guys. Please do not ask to go to the bathroom the first 10 minutes of class. If it is an emergency situation, I will dismiss you to go after the first 10 minutes of warm up. But if it's like you're going to get sick, that's a whole nother issue. We'll talk about that later. You can read that yourself. Agenda. So you should see this in every class. This is nothing new. At the beginning of each period, you'll see that today I will, so that I can, yada, yada, yada. In theater class, we start each class with a warm-up or a bell ringer, and we call that our opening act. And our exit ticket is a curtain call. These are theater terms, so I'm just trying to make you familiar with them. Dismissal periods, so the last 5 minutes of class, we will disinfect, and then I will dismiss you row by row or chair by chair, depending on how big your class is, to go stand on the red mark, and we stay on the red mark until the bell rings. It's very important, if we are in that hallway, that you are continuing to practice social distancing and that you are quiet, especially if there is another class nearby. My last period class, you guys know this. Last 5 minutes, we get packed up and we disinfect, and then you stand by your assigned seat until you're dismissed over the intercom to go line up. And what I might actually start doing with y'all is spray your desk and have you go line up on a red mark in the hallway. We'll see. Collecting forms and notes. This is something y'all got really bad about last marking period. If you have a note, a tardy slip, anything like that, it goes on the basket right here on top of the file cabinet by my desk. Please stop handing me stuff. I don't want to take something from you. If you are absent, all your work should be on Schoology, and you can do it at home. If you don't have internet at home, you're going to have 1 week to try and get things completed. And if you have an extreme circumstance like you get COVID, or you're just out for a long time because of some other issue, I am more than happy to be flexible, because I know it's really tough to be on top of your schoolwork in those situations. Okay, almost done. Emergency preparedness. These are the different drills that we will go through. They normally happen in the morning during first or second period. If it happens at a time that is not first or second period, it means it's likely not a drill and we need to take it seriously. Getting your attention. So if I want you guys to quiet down, I might raise my hand and have you all raise your hands also. You might have me clap, and then you clap back at me. If you are just really not getting quiet and you're being very squirrely and crazy, if I sit down and I don't talk for a while, that's not a good sign. So that would be a good time for you to be like, oh, she's not happy with us. Maybe I'll start hand raising, and see if you can get your peers to follow. So that is an option for you guys. Please don't make me mad. All right, discipline. So this is something that wasn't very clear last marking period, so I want it to be clear this marking period about what we're going to do. So if your name ends up on the board with 3 check marks by it, that equals a call home for the first time. The second time this happens, it becomes a detention. If you miss a detention, you have one more chance to make up that detention, and if you don't do it then it becomes a referral. If your name gets on the board with 3 marks a third time, it becomes a referral. And every following offense after that becomes a referral. And hopefully none of you are taking it to that level. Some things will get you an immediate write-up, things like fighting, blatant disrespect, and especially because of COVID, infringing upon someone else's safety. If I see any of you, for example, take your mask off and intentionally cough towards people, or just being all up on someone's space or messing with them and touching them and doing things like that, these are things that are, going to get you a write-up. So just let's not do that, okay? Okay. Getting my attention, so most of you should know this. Raise your hand if you have a basic question. If you have an emergency bathroom situation, you cross your fingers. If you need to leave your seat, it's 2 fingers. If you need to come, or if you need me to come to your desk, it's 3 fingers. And if you want to talk to me privately away from others, you do the walking man. This is also what you do if you want to ask permission to take off your mask for a few seconds to go out to the hallway. So this is to talk to me privately, okay? That looks so funny. Bathroom breaks. Schedule bathroom breaks every other period. So in this class, we follow the 7th grade schedule. So that's my 2nd period and my 7th grade or 7th period classes that have scheduled bathroom breaks during my class. All my other periods, you have to ask permission. The only bathroom you should be using in my classroom is outside my door, and the only water bottle filler that you should be going to is the one in the cafeteria, okay? If you feel like you're going to be sick to your stomach or a huge emergency like that, give me as immediate of a notice as possible and go straight to the bathroom, or if you feel like you can make it to the nurse, head to the nurse and I will send a pass down after you, okay? Supplies. If you need supplies, they will be provided to you. If I give you a pencil, it becomes your pencil. Last marking period, I noticed a lot of people stealing pencils and breaking them and or discarding them on the floor, and that is absolutely not okay. Those pencils come out of my budget, so I would really appreciate it if the breaking of the pencils would stop. So yeah, spiral notebooks can be provided for this class. I also have composition if you prefer those. Art supplies will be provided when needed, but we are going to be doing a lot of art type of things this marking period because we're going into technical theater. So I would recommend you start bringing your own supplies so that you don't have to share as much as possible. And please bring your technology and charger every day if you have it. Charger especially, don't forget your charger. Your theater arts notebook. So like I said, you should have a notebook for this class. All your work should be done in it if it's an on-paper assignment. And all tests are open notebook tests. So there's no reason anyone should fail my tests because you should be taking your notes in your notebook. If you need to charge, just let me know and you can have a seat by the charging station on the back row. If you finish early, you can recheck your work, should do other work for classes or color or read or whatever. And if we all finish early, we typically will put on a Broadway show or something entertaining for us to watch. And lastly, grades. This is the same as last marking period. Every week you will get a participation grade. That means that you're signing on and doing your Schoology work, you're turning stuff in. And then your big grades that really influence your grades the most are your project and test grades. And there's normally one project or test grade for every 3 weeks. All right, that's it for this presentation. I know I went really fast. If you have any questions, please send me a message and we can talk about it then.